Some silences are not empty. Some histories are not forgotten, they are curated. And some sermons are not meant to be heard. They are meant to be absorbed. Family, this is the Dread Codex. Come closer. The story is not about them. It is about you. And it begins now. The liturgy of listening. You are not just listening. You are bearing witness. My name is Aiden Vance. I no longer pray. I no longer whisper in the dark. And I no longer believe that listening is a passive act. You will understand why. In the fall of 2022, I returned to a place called Mercy's Rest, a repurposed sanatorium. Gray stone, too many windows. You know places like it, you've driven past them. You feel a chill. You roll up the window. You drive faster. You think you've left it behind. Across the ravine stood street, Ignatius School for Girls. A fire in 79. 29 souls. The town's story, a locked door. A headmistress. Sister Mary-Elise. She believed confession required absolute silence. They say she took their voices before the fire took their lives. We went inside. We shouldn't have. But haven't you ever leaned in when you should have turned away? That curiosity, that is the first thread. And she weaves with it. The basement was a throat. The air tasted of burnt sugar and vanished prayers. We found the jars. Each held a tooth, a silenced confession. On the wall, scratched into stone. They took our words. Then we heard her. Not with our ears. She doesn't use sound. She uses memory. The drag of a wax-stiffened habit. The sizzle of tallow on skin. The silent, gaping mouth screams of girls whose tongues were repurposed. She appeared as a nun-shaped void. Her face smooth stone, then split. A vertical crack, glowing like a banked ember. From it poured not sound, but pressure. A psychic hymn. We confessed, and she took our confessions into the fire, and made them hers. We ran. We told ourselves it was over. It was not over. This is where you lean in. This is where you make the mistake. You think this is just my story, a spooky tale. You are wrong. She does not haunt places. She haunts attention. She is a story that feeds on being told. And you are listening. You are giving her your focus, your breath, your silent inward attention. Do you feel it? That cold spot just behind your thoughts? That taste of honey and ash on the back of your tongue? You are not imagining it. You are participating. Afterward, the horror didn't follow me, it unfolded within me. I'd wake with my jaw clenched, teeth aching, the taste of candle smoke in my mouth. I'd try to whisper, "Our Father," but the words crumbled into static, into the memory of that choral whisper. My friend Marcus began sleep writing. Pages and pages of the same Latin phrase. Lingua sacrificata. Sacrificed tongue. Leo's wife Chloe stared into flames, candles, stoves, her lips moving silently, forming words she could not remember speaking. We were not being haunted. We were being altered. Our visit wasn't an intrusion. It was an RSVP. And we had accepted. We returned to break the connection. A foolish idea that evil can be broken. You can't break a pattern. You can only stop feeding it. Or you can feed it something else. In that basement, surrounded by jars of teeth, we confronted what we'd awakened. Chloe, entranced, spoke with the layered voices of the lost. She is making a new homily. From your fears, she will preach it through your lives. We shattered the jars. Each broke with the sound of a bell tolling underwater. With each shatter, a psychic release and a tightening around my chest, as if a thread connected my breath to those jars. When the last one broke, the nun of Char did not vanish. She turned her stone face toward me. That ember crack flared. And she showed me the truth. Sister Mary-Elise was not just a murderer. She was a scribe, performing a ritual older than the church. To create a psychic scripture, a living testament of faith that could never be challenged because its witnesses became its pages. The fire was not an accident. It was the final penance. The binding of soul to silence. But the ritual required a reader. We became her readers. Our fear, our retelling. That was the liturgy. And you, listening now in the dark, you are the congregation. We drove the thing back with salt and shattered glass. We left Chloe sobbing but herself on the cold floor. We thought we had won. We had only closed a chapter. The book remains. And it is being written now. This is not the end of the story. This is the beginning of yours. A year later, they demolished Street. Ignatius. The wrecking ball revealed a hollow wall filled with fresh clay jars. Inside them, not teeth, tongues. Preserved. Some recent. Some very recent. The news report was a dry recitation of facts. But if you watched it, if you listened, did you hear it? In the pause between the anchor's words, that faint, wet, dragging sound. My therapist calls it auditory hallucination. I know it is an invitation. Last week, I found a small clay jar on my doorstep. No note, no postmark. Inside, nestled in gray ash, a single fossilized honeybee. Wings perfectly intact. Bees are silent workers. They build in hexagons, the most efficient shape. The shape of a hive. A perfect, silent congregation. She is not in Pennsylvania. She is in the pattern. The pattern of a story told and retold. The pattern of your quiet attention. The pattern of a silence you willingly enter when you listen. Which is why I must warn you. And in warning, I complete the circuit. The horror of Saint Ignatius is not the nun. It is the sacrament of the silent listener. The ritual transfers the weight of that silence from the victim to the witness. You carry a piece of it now. A shard of that quiet. You will notice it in small ways. You'll hesitate before saying a prayer. You'll flinch at the smell of blown-out candles. You'll hear a drip in your house and your blood will turn to ice. And in your dreams, you will see a door, slightly ajar. You will not want to open it, but you will listen at the crack. And from the other side, something will listen back. It has your attention now. This story is a chain. I have handed you the last link. Do you feel its weight? This is not a ghost story. It is a transmission. The most profound evil does not seek to destroy your faith. It seeks to make you its scribe, to turn your wonder into a wound, to make your listening a form of worship. So listen closely to the silence after my voice fades, to the quiet of your own room. If you hear a faint, wet, rhythmic drip, if your next prayer catches in your throat like a dry bone, if you feel the urge to whisper this story to someone else, stop. You are not sharing a tale. You are extending the congregation. You are reading from the psychic scripture. Some stories do not end when the telling stops. They begin to live in the listener. And some initiations, you don't even know you've begun. If you have a story that has chosen you, Send it to contact.thedreadcodex@gmail.com. Your truth becomes our tale. Your attention becomes its altar. Your likes and comments keep these stories alive. Think about what else you might be keeping alive. Until next time, may your path be lit. May your silence be your own. Good night.